This is Part 3 Episode 182. There are at least 12 official level undyings. Luo Feng put down his wine. I really haven't fought an official level undying yet since coming to the outer region wars. Yang, you have to be cautious, otherwise it's really easy to die. The undying General Xu Fan emphasized, a pinnacle general compared to an official. Even though it may seem like a small difference. However, the difference in ability is terrifying. Up to tens of thousands of times different. Just in terms of strength, the two may have very little difference, the only difference however is, the undying body. The moment one attains an undying body, the difficulty to beat him will go up tens of thousands of times. Like Boy and I, our strength is very close to an official, however if we self-destruct, we can completely destroy an official level undying. However, he would still be able to regain his body without any damage. If our self-destruct cannot even harm the enemy, what's the point of battle? If we meet an official, there's only one word, flee. The undying general shook his head and sighed. With an undying body, even if we destroy that body thousands of times, he would be undamaged. Only with an undying body would one truly be eternal, otherwise even an undying is just cannon fodder. Luo Feng frowned. Normally there were only two ways to kill an undying with an undying body, one was to destroy his soul, another was to simply use brute force. But both of these options had huge requirements. Like the mission Luo Feng was assigned to by the Virtual Universe Company, killing an official level undying, they naturally sent a team led by an Emperor level undying, and it still took a few rounds of battle before the undying was killed. Let's not talk about such matters, Yang. The general boy's voice was thick as he said anxiously, you just came to Fog Island, if you don't have a destination in mind, how about, you follow us brothers first? Right. Xu Fan said beside, sticking to us brothers, you can get used to the battle atmosphere here in Yangji continent. The two of them looked with anticipation at Luo Feng. Then I'll be bothering you too. Luo Feng smiled. Sticking to this team would allow him to deal with Nuo Lan Shan, naturally this was his best option. The more important reason was his battle plan. Luo Feng would be here on Yangji continent for a very long time. As to exploring such dangerous places, it was better to acquire some experience first and collect information about the place. After flying in the ship for over a day, they entered a mountain range, the clouds engulfed the area. This was the reason the area was called Fog Island, as over 1/3 of the island was covered all year in thick fog. We've returned. We've survived. And we got quite a bit of points this time. It's all thanks to the sudden appearance of the mysterious sector Lord Warrior. Nuo Lan Shan followed the other soldiers through a path and entered the camp within the mountain range. Its insides had long been dug clean to fit a large base. Since Luo Feng joined the army, it seems like he really wants me dead. Nuo Lan Shan glanced at the three silhouettes walking together in the distance, cursing within, just wait. I'll just stay in the army, let's see what you can do to me. If you kill me, that would be a huge crime and you'd have to pay the consequences. Yang. Xu Fan and Boy sent Luo Feng into a quiet palace, you can stay here for now, we'll give you detailed information about Fog Island when we get back. And whatever we understand about the place, we will send to you. We will rest for about 15 days, before heading out on another expedition. After a while, Luo Feng received information via the Virtual Universe Network. There was very little information about Yangji main continent, but there was much available about the Fog Island. Detailed information about the 12 officials of Fog Island. Luo Feng sat and looked at the information on his arm. Every one of their pictures and information was displayed. Demon race, nickname Wheel Snake. Luo Feng looked at his picture and shook his head. This is one of the 18 royal bloodlines of the demon race, the Wheel October Eye Snake. Looks like a lot of the human undyings have very little understanding on how to deal with the other races. Belongs to the Bug clan, nickname Boulder. The information sure is lacking, this Boulder, he should be one of the races living far on the borders of the universe. He should belong to the rock life form Ka-Wu race. Automaton allies, nicknamed Blade Flash. Nickname Black Mist. Nickname Nightmare. Luo Feng looked at the information of the official level undyings, among which the demon race had 3, the automaton race had 2, the bug clan had 4 and humans had 3. Of course, large amounts them were of the 4 pinnacle races allies. After all, the subservient races were far from the pinnacle races, however once the numbers added up, they would be much more than the pinnacle race undyings. In the blink of an eye, 15 days had passed. The General Shu Fan and Boy led their armies in the ship and flew carefully above Fog Island, looking for their target. This time, however, they were very confident, because Luo Feng was on the ship too. Luo Feng, Shu Fan and Boy stood in the control room. "We've discovered our target." Shu Fan pulled up his screen and projected it. It was a blur of large amounts of scaled beings. The Chiosha soldiers, from a glance, there were over 10,000 of them. These little scaled beings are very ferocious, even normal domain lords and sector lords can explode and reform. From the looks of it, their scanning device isn't as advanced as ours. They have 2 undyings, and these 2 are not from the 12 officials list, they should be at general level. Should we attack? Shu Fan looked at Boy and Luo Feng. Yes. Boy gritted his teeth. Yang? Shu Fan looked at Luo Feng. I came here to get points. Luo Feng smiled, let's do it. All right. Shu Fan immediately gave the order to the 3 cabins below, listen well, the battle will begin in about 4 minutes, the targets are the disgusting scaled beings. Nuo Lan Shan looked at the pictures of the scaled beings, looking up, just some ugly scaled beings, everybody better get more points later. Yes, Captain. Understood. The domain lords and universe levels all replied excitedly. Luo Feng, I will always stay within the army, let's see what you can do to me. In a while, I'll get more points. Nuo Lan Shan was feeling the itch, and he suddenly heard a rumble. The cabin doors had opened and a powerful roar rang in his mind. Listen to my order, battle. The vast army of close to 20,000 soldiers swiftly flew through the spacious cabin pathways. Nuo Lan Shan was naturally amongst them. Rumble. A distant terrifying ripple rushed over, causing the space around to tear apart. The ripple shocked everybody. The battle's already begun. Nuo Lan Shan glanced at the distance. In mid-air, there were 3 humans. One of them was completely covered in flames, one in ice-cold energy, and one more with the aura of a huge bird, simultaneously controlling a terrifying huge beast god projection. They fought against 2 undyings. One of them was extremely powerful, and every punch tore through space, and another with 9 blades. Howl, the countless ugly scaled beings rushed over at them. Kill. The human soldiers all became over 10,000 beams of lights and fought. It's time to get points. Nuo Lan Shan's eyes gleamed with excitement. He, who had acquired the universe-level huge axe medal before, enjoyed killing within. He flashed as fast as lightning at 2 Chiosha warriors. They were both domain lord level 9 warriors. They howled and tried to surround Nuo Lan Shan. Committing suicide. Nuo Lan Shan released his world projection and suppressed them, after which 2 delicate cicada wing-like flashes of blade lit up. They flashed in 8 directions. The 2 Chiosha warriors were instantly torn to shreds. It made the distant sector Lord level 9 Chiosha warrior howl and rush over, causing Nuo Lan Shan to retreat. Fifth brother, be careful. Leave that punk to us. The relationships forged over countless years had made the sector Lord Pinnacle warriors naturally come help out. This scene made Nuo Lan Shan happy within. Even though he was independent of the army already, he didn't like exploring alone, mainly because the army always had others to help him out. Of course, at Sector Lord level 3, he normally needed other Sector Lords to help. It would take very long for him to reach Sector Lord level 9. Die. He once again killed the surrounding Domain Lord level 9 enemies, flashing back immediately to join with the other humans to kill others. Within this life or death training, he was like a fish in water, he enjoyed it deep in his bones. Thrilling. Nuo Lan Shan killed excitedly. This Luo Feng actually didn't take out his undying plant. Nuo Lan Shan glanced at the distance, discovering that Luo Feng had fought a few rounds with one of the scaled undyings. Even though the enemy was heavily injured, he hadn't won completely yet. If he takes out his undying plant, he would definitely win. Without it, would be much harder. Nuo Lan Shan turned back to continue his massacre, rushing straight at a group of weak soldiers, making the Sector Lord level 9 Qiu Shi warriors rush over angrily. At this time, rumble. A powerful flash of a blade tore through thousands of kilometers, directly piercing through the area Nuo Lan Shan was in. He was instantly pierced through by the slash, his entire body exploding to pieces. Before he died, he stared wide-eyed, raging within, Luo Feng. The slash had torn through many of the little Qiu Shi warriors surrounding him. They died tragically. And in the distant air, Luo Feng, who was engaged with the undying with the 9 blades, noticed this scene in the corner of his eye, snorting coldly before continuing to battle. I don't believe I can't kill you without the undying plant. Luo Feng roared. Fifth brother. Fifth brother. Captain. The distant universe soldiers, who witnessed the scene, all shouted in pain and agony. Nuo Lan Shan had been a good comrade over these countless years. Bastard. Despicable punks, go and die. The pain-filled soldiers all attacked even more madly at the Qiu Shi scaled warriors. They only thought that he was killed by a ripple of attack from the undying battle. These ripples normally don't kill Sector Lord. However, even a Sector Lord pinnacle would die without doubt when hit by one of the blade slashes, much less the Sector Lord level 3 Nuo Lan Shan. Kill. The human soldiers rushed at the enemies did the same back at them. It was war. Nuo Lan Shan's death was indeed within Luo Feng's calculations. The Qiu Shi undying fighting Luo Feng was a spirit reader too. He controlled 9 blades. While Luo Feng was blocking his attacks and the two fought, the Qi Shi's blade clashed with the beast god's claws. The blade's attack was knocked sideways and its slash naturally curved. The beast god projection simply altered its angle and aimed it at a particular direction Luo Feng had intended on. The beast god projection's claw blocked and altered the attack's angle. Even the harsh and extremely strict army system wouldn't be able to determine Luo Feng as the culprit. He was after all simply blocking an attack. Just like that, Nuo Lan Shan was dead. He thought that the army would be extremely safe for him. He didn't know that there would be loopholes in the system. Hence he died unknown in the battlefield, amongst the countless members that had fallen. Back then I was forced by Nuo Lan Shan to such extremes, almost like it was the end. I felt like he was such a huge presence back then, unable to shake. Now however, after 4,000 years of training, his strength had risen so much, yet he was still nothing but an ant to me. There was no difficulty in killing him at all, just like stepping on an ant. Luo Feng thought. Strength, this is strength. The outer region wars is life or death training. This training is most importantly to raise one's strength, and not to head out to kill aimlessly over and over. One has to reflect on each battle over and over to acquire more experience. Luo Feng got a strong sense of anticipation after accomplishing his goal of killing Nuo Lan Shan. Becoming an absolute warrior. A true warrior with the ability to protect himself, unshaken by any other powerful warriors. Go. Luo Feng stood on the Luo Fu Chi board and looked at the distant Qiu Shi undying. Howl, a formless howl from an ancient time, a powerful beast god projection that rushed forward, completely suppressing the surrounding space, pushing down on the poor enemy. It could only use its 9 blades to block and defend. Tear. Its powerful claws immediately hit the 9 blades that were used to defend, after which, the terrifying energy tore right through its body. Rumble. Its body was torn apart and knocked away. The shredded body quickly began to regain its form in space as the enraged Qiu Shi undying looked at the distant Luo Feng. He let out an ear-piercing scream in human language. Human Sector Lord, I don't believe I can't kill you. The 9 blades quickly became 9 beams of light and pierced at Luo Feng. The beast god's projection used its scaled tail to sweep away 7 beams of light, with 2 remaining. You are after all just a Sector Lord, your body cannot withstand my attack. The Qiu Shi undying gritted his teeth. Rumble. Luo Feng wielded the Beast God armament shield, casually blocking. With the Beast God armament, it gave him the strength of a low-level official undying, plus its material itself easily knocked away the two blades. So hard to kill, a pinnacle general undying sure is hard to kill. I've already shredded his body 7 times, however he manages to regain his form over and over. However, from the looks of it, he's lost quite a bit of strength. Luo Feng frowned. Simply using the Beast God armament without the undying star-eating plant sure is hard. Rumble. A howl resounded from another direction, the other scaled undying had fallen. Yang. The distant Xu Fan and boy looked over at Luo Feng. Xu Fan couldn't help but tell him mentally, these scaled beings are energy life forms. They are more adept than flesh and blood life forms in regaining their form. Even those without an undying body, as long as they aren't too weak, they'd still take tens of times to be destroyed before they truly die. Yang, with the undying plant helping, first destroy him and then let the plant swallow his shredded body. Completely swallowing his shredded body will naturally kill him. This is the quickest method. I understand. Luo Feng replied. I want to use him to train myself, please wait a while. The distant Xu Fan and boy exchanged glances, not daring to say anything, immediately heading to the army to swiftly deal with the little enemies. Quickly flee. Flee. Howl. The Chiosha soldiers all shouted in different languages, dispersing in all directions. The human soldiers naturally took the chance to kill as many as they could. The remaining Chiosha undying immediately revealed a look of shock. The 2 human undyings are coming, the moment they join hands with this sector lord, I'd be dead. I have to flee now. He couldn't care less anymore, immediately turning to flee. Where are you going? Luo Feng's gaze was cold. Rumble. His world projection swiftly increased its binding strength. With it there, the Chiosha undying's flying speed was naturally affected, Luo Feng's however was boosted and he swiftly caught up. Human, don't force me. The undying turned and shouted angrily, its screech piercing. Self-destruct. Luo Feng smiled coldly. The huge single-horned lizard in space rushed down and pressed down, its right and left claws grabbing the Chiosha undying. It was just like a piece of tofu, madly torn apart by the huge beast god projection over and over, however it simply regained its form every time. But, each time the body was reformed, it did take up a lot of its undying energy. It didn't have an undying body after all. It would lose a large amount of its undying energy every time it was torn apart. And it couldn't escape. Attacked over and over. The undying howled and wanted to rush at Luo Feng, wanting to self-destruct to take him along with his. However, it was once again torn apart by the beast god projection. It felt nothing but pain and hatred. He wanted to self-destruct, and yet it couldn't even get close. It was forced into a corner with no other way. Its spirit attacks before had no effect whatsoever, and it failed in attacking him with its long-distance spirit weapons. Now its self-destruct abilities were hindered by the distance too. Being torn apart over and over drove him to the brink of madness. Tearing me again, you shall be torn too. Rumble. The undying was being torn apart again when it self-destructed. Rumble. The explosion instantly caused thousands of kilometers of space around to crumble. The pinnacle general undying's explosion was thousands of times its normal attack. This was an undying's final move. Luo Feng's beast god projection instantly crumbled under the attack, with large amounts of metal flakes dispersing in all directions, after which they all curved and returned to Luo Feng and rejoined the beast god shield. Killing a pinnacle general undying sure is troublesome. Luo Feng shook his head. The distant Xu Fan and boy flew over. Ha ha, congratulations Yang. Xu Fan smiled, to be able to kill a pinnacle general undying alone, this is not easy at all. Even us, we have to combine our strengths to do so. You must combine strengths. Luo Feng looked at them. Xu Fan nodded, 1v1 with the strengths closely matched, it's extremely hard to kill a pinnacle general. Even if he's torn apart, he can reform his body. Even though it would take up undying energy. However, normal generals can maintain their energy to reform at least 10 times. This isn't a problem, especially when he ultimately feels like he cannot hold out any longer with no chance to escape and no allies coming in time. He can choose to self-destruct at the last moment. 1v1, if he self-destructs at close distance, the victor would lose his life too. Hence normally we work together. With the two of us, the moment we gain the advantage and destroy his body, we can immediately use undying energy to bind the shattered fragments, not letting him swiftly reform, and separating the pieces. As these fragments have powerful undying energy within, they will struggle very hard. It takes two of us with our full strengths to control them and destroy each part individually. These fragments would then be separated into two portions. One man will deal with the fragments and continuously destroy them, making those parts get weaker and weaker, wasting the enemy's undying energy. And under such circumstances, he wouldn't be able to self-destruct too. Finally, when all undying energy has been spent, he would die. If it was one person alone, one would first separate the fragments and suppress the fragments himself. Unless he was very strong, it would be very hard to do. Unless one attacks from a distance like Yu Yang, you don't have to fear the self-destruct. Xu Fan smiled. Luo Feng nodded. When he killed the undyings before, he used the star-eating plant to help him. Naturally it was much easier. Xu Fan, boy, I think it's time I left. Luo Feng said. Leave? The two generals were shocked. Right now, the two of them really wished for Luo Feng to stay in their team. However, they were very clear, the chances of him staying for long was very very low. Ha ha, you two are my first friends here in Yangji continent. We will definitely meet again. Luo Feng smiled. I have my own plan, hence. We all have our own goals, we won't force you. Yang, live till retirement. Boy said. Live till retirement. Xu Fan said too. Same, live till retirement. Luo Feng smiled. Rumble. After which he became a beam of light, and swiftly vanished into the distance. This video will end here.